still be able to make perfectly relevant content. Everything would look great, sound good, and you would be able to get there well enough. I am at a point where I'm trying to make higher level stuff, and this, again, this isn't a defense of what I'm trying to do. Like, these things still are expensive, that is very true, but you don't need them right away to get started in this. That's what we've always said in terms of encouraging people to make content, is you want to start out and master the crayon level stuff first, and then, only then, when you realize the limitations that you have with those tools, do you start to look beyond it. Because if you start way higher than your skill level, you're going to have things and spend too much money on things you don't need because you don't even know how to use it. That was kind of my first foray into cameras. I bought a DSLR camera and I didn't even know what ISO was, t-stops, f-stops. I didn't know any of these things about cameras, but I bought it and it was basically a $500 useless lump of plastic that I could not utilize properly until almost a year later it sat around.
I think I remember that camera. Didn't you get like a T4i?
It was a T3i or T4i, I can't remember which.
I feel like I remember because I saw the first time I ever got to play with that camera, I was like, wow, I'm gonna put it on auto.
Yeah, I know, right? Honestly, auto did better than anything I could do, but...
Meanwhile, you guys tell me my camera's on auto, and I'm like, what is that? How? What?
Because you're 10 years into your career!
Like, I'm not, and I don't even know as much as Mark knows, and I'm in no way like an expert at these things, but I have learned things, Wade.
I have avoided knowledge like the plague.
You really do. It's almost impressive how little you've managed to learn.
You can learn to rock climb, or you can just drive to Everest and start walking. That's what I say. And here I am halfway up the mountain, flailing my arms and screaming help. But you know I'm here.
I thought you were just going to say you could have someone drive you to the top of the mountain, because I think that's a more accurate. You could learn to rock climb, or you could hitch a ride in someone else's truck to the top.
You can just deliver yourself to the mountain by calling a cab.
Look, I just want to say, for that about not being a defense of your actions, Mark, done it very defensive, and I'm proud of you. But also, it's hard to keep perspective because this is our job, and like spending more money on something seems ridiculous to someone who's like trying to do this as a hobby. I've definitely bought some expensive stuff where I could have cheaped out. Who's to say if I'm getting the full benefit of all of it? I think I am. I'm doing my best. But like, if you want to see what's possible with a crayon, an interesting example of this would be Autofocus, which is a channel that Marquez Brownlee runs, which is a YouTube channel about electric vehicles, or cars in general, I think, but it's basically about EVs at this point. He shoots it exclusively on phones. He makes beautiful shots. He films extremely high quality, like 8K, exquisite things that look ridiculous. He makes stuff with the cell phone, which to the, to a normal person's eyes looks just as good, and he literally shot it on his iPhone. It's not necessarily about having expensive tools at all. If you have a lot of mastery of craft, you could make a lot of stuff with like one or two very simple things.
There's a guy on Reddit who only takes pictures of the moon, but like over time, those pictures have gotten better and better each photo. And I think that's a very similar type.
I think I heard about that. Mark, you like space. That seems like something you'd be into.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm gonna recommend that.
I think I'm getting older by the consonant.
If by the time we end this podcast, you haven't bought the moon, I'll be disappointed.
I love your optimism of my finances. I really appreciate that.
Well, how expensive could the moon be? No one else is trying to live there.
If no one owns it, it's free, right? You just gotta get there. Which, just get in someone else's car and they'll drive you.
Maybe Apple can get you to the moon. Thunderbolt your way there, like Zeus style.
Zeus style? Got that Zeus drip, I'm Zeused out to the nines.
You know what? The topic of owning the moon